Welcome back to the Can't Kick the Habit podcast, where it is a beautiful sunny morning in the great state of Minnesota. In this episode, I will be giving you my picks for the 2022-2023 Week 13 regular season for the NFL, in which the season has been crazy, where nobody knows anything. The Jaguars could just defeat the Ravens. Like, huh? What? Anyways, I'll be giving you my picks, which may or may not be right. Nobody knows this season. Nobody even understands what the season is. But I'm going to give you my picks. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, at Can't Kick the Habit. Subscribe to me on YouTube, and I'll be sure to pump out more content for you guys in the near future and in the coming months. But looking at the first game, it's the Buffalo Bills at New England. I think the Buffalo Bills should win this game with ease. I mean, the Patriots are not a bad team by any means, but I mean, the Bills are just so good. I know the Bills are 0-3 in the division, and they can't seem to beat an AFC East team. But I mean, it's at New England. It's a tough. Foxborough's a tough place to play, but I mean, the Bills seem to be turning it around. Josh Allen is healthier, or he's getting healthier. The Bills should be able to go into Foxborough and beat the New England Patriots. If they don't, I'd be worried for the Bills, and to make a deep playoff run. Because if they lose this game, they still will probably make the playoffs as like the 7th seed. Because the Dolphins and the Jets, it's Mike White season, and Tua and that offense are cruising. So this is a must-win game for Buffalo, just to prove they can beat an AFC East team. So I'm picking the Bills. I'll go by 10. Next game, Steelers-Falcons, a game I will not watch because these are two teams that are awful. But I'm going to pick the Falcons. And it's not because I have Cordell Patterson fantasy, but I just think the Falcons have looked just slightly better than the Steelers this year. And who knows if TJ Watt is coming back from his injury, because the Steelers are a much better team when TJ Watt plays. They just look more confident, look more aggressive. And right now they don't have him, so I'm picking the Falcons to win this game over the Steelers. Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears do not have Justin Fields, and without him, they look awful. And the Packers, I mean, as long as the Packers are mathematically alive, which I don't. When your team is 4-8, you should not be mathematically alive in the playoff hunt, but they technically are. And Rodgers said that he's going to play as long as they have a shot at the playoffs. But, I mean, Jordan Love looked pretty good last week, and Aaron Rodgers has rib injuries, so who knows. But I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game. They should be able to get it done against the Justin Fields-less Chicago Bears pretty easily. So I'll take the Packers in that one. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Detroit Lions. The Jags pull off a shocker, absolute shocker against the Baltimore Ravens in a controversial touchdown catch by Marvin Jones. And nobody really knows what a catch is anymore. The NFL's got to define that to a T this season, or this offseason, because, I mean, he caught it with one foot and then so he went up to catch it and then fell down on his left foot. And then his right foot did not touch the ground, and his left foot kind of rolled. Like he went like foot, ankle, and then the shin knee hit out of bounds. And they called it a touchdown, and they reviewed it touchdown. So it's kind of controversial because without that play, the Jaguars definitely don't win against the Ravens. But still, they put up a heck of a performance against the Ravens. And the Detroit Lions coming off a narrow loss to the Buffalo Bills. And this is what you want to see from the Dan Campbell-led Lions. He is a great motivator. He is a guy that all the Lions look up to. but his only problem is he hasn't been winning games lately. That before they started winning, that was his problem. He wasn't winning games. Now they're starting to win games. They're starting to get close. I mean, they almost beat the Bills. I know the Bills have had a tough stretch, but they're still the Bills. So the Lions look like they could be a team in the coming years. And that NFC North, man, it's looking like the Packers are falling down, and the Lions, Bears are moving up in the world. We'll see where the Vikings are because they kind of have a controversial season, not having the hardest schedule, beating all those teams by one score. So we'll see where they go in the playoffs this year. But we'll also see, because Jordan Love looked really good. So if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play the rest of the season because they're mathematically eliminated, and then Jordan Love comes in and balls out, this could be a great division moving forward, the NFC North. So look for the NFC North to just take a huge step forward in the next 1-2 seasons. With that being said, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions over the Jags. I just think the Jaguars are just are far more inconsistent than the Lions. I mean, they blew up the Chargers and then they lose to the Broncos. It's like, eh. And the Lions, they've won 3 of their last 4 games, I think, and their only loss was a narrow loss to the Bills. So I'm taking the Lions. I believe in Dan Campbell. I believe in the Lions' offense, and their defense is coming around. So I'll pick the Lions. The New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings. This will be a test for Mike White, not because the Vikings have this great defense. No, their defense is not, and especially their secondary is not great. But it's a test for him to show that last season was not just how it's going to go every year. Last season, he had his first 2 games, I think, were just these incredible shows that everybody loves. He's like, oh my gosh, Mike White's their next guy. And then he fell off a cliff. So he's trying to prove that last week was not a fluke against the bad Bears defense. And the Vikings are looking to prove that they can play against a tough defense. The Jets have a great defense. So did the Cowboys, and the Vikings could not get anything rolling. So this would be a test for the New York Jets, or for both teams actually, to see who can prevail. Can Mike White prevail against a decent defense and prove that he is a franchise quarterback? And can Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook and the entire offense and Kevin O'Connell prove that they can beat a really good defense and put up points? Because when they played Dallas, they put up 3 points and it was awful showing. So this team is also looking this would be a huge win for them if they could win pretty outright. Like if they could win by like a score of like 28-10, that would be a huge showing of the Minnesota Vikings scoring against a good defense. With that being said, I'm gonna take the Vikings because I think they're just the better team in my opinion. I do like Robert Saleh, but I'm taking the Vikings. The Commanders versus the Giants. Commanders look good. I'm going to be honest. Giants kind of showing their colors a bit about their record being kind of fluky. And I hate Dan Snyder, and I hate what he's doing in Washington. I hate what they did with the Sean Taylor Memorial. It was all bad. And I hate him so much, but I love Taylor Heineke. I think he is a baller. And I think the Commanders win this game over their NFC East rival, the New York Giants. I like Brian Daboll, but I don't think the Giants make the playoffs this year. I don't think it's going to happen. I might get heat for that, but I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they make the playoffs this year. I think they have a good run, but I don't think they make the playoffs. I think there's some better teams that have a better shot than the New York Giants. But we'll see. Who knows what other teams do, because this year has been crazy. But I'm taking the Commanders. Tennessee Titans versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just the Eagles have had the easiest schedule in the NFL, and they've really only beaten one good team. Actually, scratch that. I don't think they've beaten a really good team this year, besides the Vikings, but that was week 2 primetime, so who really counts that? But they lose to the Commanders, and they almost lose to the Colts. They should have lost if Jess Saturday had a clue in the fourth quarter and their offense played good. But And they didn't. The Eagles won that game. I think this game will be really close. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but you can't fault the Eagles for winning all these games. So I'm going to give the Eagles the win over the Tennessee Titans. The Denver Broncos versus the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams just doing bad things. If you listen to my podcast yesterday, you'll know my thoughts and opinions about how to fix the Denver Broncos. But the Baltimore Ravens, they have blown 4 fourth quarter leads by like 10 or more. Last week they were led by 9 with like 6 minutes left. They lost to the Giants, leading by 10. They lost to the Dolphins, leading by like 20 or something ridiculous. They lost to them, and they lost to one other team with a fourth quarter lead. Was it the Raiders? No, can't remember. But just both teams that are just not doing great things right now. It's very upsetting to watch. But I think just with the Broncos, how poorly they've been playing, and how good Lamar Jackson is. I mean, he's so good, and how good that defense is. It is only right that I pick the Denver Broncos. That's right. The Denver Broncos are going into Baltimore and just wiping the floor with the Ravens. Watch it happen. Remember this podcast. Remember this when you watch the game on Sunday, that the Denver Broncos go into Baltimore and just whoop butt. Watch it, okay? Remember that. I am not deluded right now. I am not insane. I'm insane, but whatever. I picked the Broncos. Next match, the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. Texans suck. Deshaun Watson's coming back. Browns win. Deshaun Watson revenge game. Everything's a revenge game now, but who cares? The Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams losing Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp was a huge hit on them. And the Seahawks losing to the Raiders, not a good showing for them. And they're battling out for the NFC West. And they're kind of losing some steam right now. The Niners look better than the Seahawks do. So I don't. And will the Seahawks make the playoffs? Probably. I picked the Seahawks to make the playoffs over the Giants. I think they'll take their wild card spot. I think they look better than the Giants do. The Giants kind of showing their colors. But I'm going to take the Seahawks over the Rams. The Rams are one of the worst teams in football, which is, I mean, they went all in. And I'm so happy for them that they won the Super Bowl, because otherwise if they didn't win, they'd have a horrible stretch. Just awful. And I mean, you went all in, and congrats to Sean McVay and the entire Rams organization for winning. But this is what happens when you go all in for a season, and then you kind of fall off and you don't have any picks. And now the Rams are looking at kind of a hole. That's what they're looking at the next few seasons, because they don't have any picks. And Matthew Stafford's getting up there in age. He's not looking very good. Guys like Jalen Ramsey are older. Cooper Kupp is great receiver, but you don't have a run game. You don't have picks to go get a running back. You know, your team's kind of, Aaron Donald's not getting any younger. I mean, he's incredible, but like when you play that tough at a position where he's at, and you get up there in age, it gets harder and harder every year to beat out these young offensive linemen. So I'm going to take the Seahawks just because of injuries on the Rams side to win this game. Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. This would be a tough game. This would be a game for Miami to prove that they can. They're not a fluky team. They're not that Tua can play against a tough defense. This will also be a tough for the Niners to show that they can have a steady offense that can do well week in and week out. And two coaches that know each other, this would be a fun game to watch. I think this probably will be the game that I watch over like the Seahawks. I think 3:00 games are Seahawks, Rams, Dolphins, Niners, Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers, Raiders. I think this will be the game that I watch, or kind of flip back between the Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins Niners because this would be a close game. But I know the Niners have so many weapons and a great defense. I'm just not as huge on them as everybody else is. I just don't know what it is. They haven't been consistent offensively. I don't think Jimmy G is that good. I know he's a facilitator and he can win games, but he's not the guy. I don't know what it is about them. I'm not super high on them. Everybody's like, they're such a great team. And I'm like, are they though? Because they kind of are iffy. But I'm going to take the Dolphins. I believe in Mike McDaniels and Tua and Jeff Wilson Jr., Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, that defense. I believe in all of it. I think they get the win in San Fran against the Niners. Chiefs, Bengals. Rematch of the AFC Championship game last year. I mean, the way the Chiefs have looked, it's hard to bet against them. Bengals are kind of coming into their own. They do have a shot at the AFC North. Right there in the North, yeah. They do have a shot because the Steelers sure as heck aren't making it. Their only rival is the Ravens. They're not. Hold up. AFC North, yeah. The Steelers sure as heck aren't making it. The Browns would need a miracle to make the wild card. And if the Ravens keep losing these fourth quarter leads, the Bengals look like they could take it. But this would be a good game also to watch. I am going to take the Chiefs. I don't think the Bengals I just don't know. It could go either way. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs. It's hard to beat the Chiefs twice in a row, especially when they look as good as they do. So I'm taking the Chiefs over the Bengals. The Chargers versus the Raiders. Oh my gosh. Just pathetic football about to ensue. Don't watch this game. Especially as a Broncos fan, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to pray both teams tie in a 0-0 game with 40 punts. So the Heat will be taken off the Broncos and put on these two teams. The Chargers will probably make the playoffs. The Raiders will probably end the season on a high note. And I'm hating for it. I'm praying for a 0-0 tie with a punt fest. But I'm going to take the Chargers because I hate Josh McDaniels and I hate everything he stands for. So I want him to lose very, very badly. Sunday night game, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Dallas Cowboys. Jeff Saturday had a very rough game at the end of last week. And the Cowboys are just too good. It's just the truth. The Cowboys are way too good. I'm picking the Cowboys over the Colts. Colts do not look good. So I'm picking the Cowboys. The New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams suck. I'm just calling it as it is. Saints suck. The Buccaneers, the Buccaneers, they suck. Tom Brady's looking old. Tampa Bay, more like Bompa. I don't know, but they both look bad. This is why do all the primetime games suck? Why are they all bad? That is the question I'll be asking Roger Goodell when he opens up for a press conference. I'll be asking him, why are all the primetime games this awful? Why are you forcing us to watch all these miserable games on primetime? Anyways, I'll take the Bucks just because Andy Dalton sucks. But anyways, those are my Week 13 picks of the NFL. If you liked what you hear, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and all that jazz. Subscribe to me on YouTube. If you have any comments, let me know. If you have any things you want me to talk about, and if you want me to review any new ideas, video ideas you want me to post, I'll be glad to hear them in the comments. If you agree with me, disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'll be in the comments always. Love seeing that. But anyways, those are my Week 13 picks. Signing off. Another episode of Can't Kick the Habit.